I ain't done anything like this in forever. Oh, yeah, Warren, I'm a cuss. Fuck it. It's 11 a.m. I got no sleep. But, and backdrop this time is the Chickasaw, Alabama Jack Davis Auditorium Pro Wrestling Gulf South Wrestling June 4th. It was back when Fuego del Sol was not known to anybody outside Alabama. And like you'll see Mountain Man's above this book over here. He's passed. Bunch of people. Alex Cruz was on the show. His signature's on here somewhere. I had 2 of these. I got rid of one. This one I kept. I just figured I'd make a nice backdrop. But what I want to talk about. Give me a second. What we got here is 2 wrestling books I just finished recently. Now, the one over here on the right, the Pro Wrestling Mississippi History by Jeffrey Martin. We've actually got to meet the author of this one. I'm getting down the bit. I had one for the longer period. I bought it whenever it came out last year. I don't remember. I'll tag Jeffrey in this, Mr. Martin in this when I put it up, and he'll let me know. Because I came here, I bought it you can see, I got it shipped to me signed. And then I met him not much afterwards at an Ocean Springs AWA Pro show and talked to him for a bit because he put a face with the name. He's like, okay, cool. But it should be a little bit longer to read that, even though it's thinner than this. This one is more of this reminds me more like that Tim Hornbaker NWA history book where it's really good, packed with information, but it's one of those where I got to be in the right mood to read it. And this is more conversational, so it read, even though it's a lot more pages. This thing was how many? I mean, including the bibliography, 158 pages. I mean, really, if you don't read the bibliography, which I skimmed through it just to see what was in it. 144 pages, so under 150 pages. And this thing was, 2 something? 307 if you include the little stuff at the back. All right. So I'm going to go with this one first. It's the one I just finished, so let's go with this one first. Excuse me. All right, forward by Gil Culkin. There's the covers. Derek King. There's, I don't know these. Does it say on the back anywhere? Grandmaster Sexy, Jeff Jarrett. All right. A Mississippi Wrestling Throwdown. At its peak, it may have been Mississippi's most popular sport, not baseball, basketball, or even football. We're talking professional wrestling. With its pageantry, flamboyant personalities, and endless drama, wrestling once had the state in a figure-4 leg lock, filling everyone from awestruck kids to equal grandparents. Come along for a rumble through the carnival days of the late 1800s, all the way to the house spots and indie darlings of the modern era. Step inside the squared circle with Billy Romanoff, the old-school wrestler turned promoter who made the sport a staple of Jackson City Auditorium. Square off with Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee, who brought down the house on Fridays at the Tupelo Sports Arena. Go inside the minds of Father George and Gil Culkin, who split with Cowboy Bill Watts to create their own Mississippi territory, kickstarting the careers of Kamala, Terry Gordy, Michael Hayes, and others. Joined author Jeffrey Martin for a raucous run through Mississippi wrestling history. That's a $24 book. It's a small press book. You're going to pay a little bit more. I paid almost the same price for something, but it's a print on demand. This is actually through History Press. I've never heard of the History Press. Never heard of them, but it's like, hey, it's a nice, well-made book. A lot of good pictures. I'm going to try something real quick, folks, just to see. Sorry. Like I said, I don't go live often, so I'm not used to how to do everything here, and I know there's nobody watching. I just look. I'm going to attempt something, if this will let me. Come on. I don't know if my internet's good enough. We have not gotten our fiber. The fiber's at the house. He's got to come hook it up. I'm still on Uverse, which ain't great. Okay. Let's back out of that. Sorry. I know that was a boring 30 seconds there where I was doing nothing. All right. Flip through this. All right. To Ultimate Gals, I hope you enjoy reading this book as much as I did research for Martin. Now, Mr. Martin is fighting cancer, if I remember right. When I saw him, and I'd seen a picture of him online when I got the book. Never had met the man. And friended him on Facebook, introduced us, hey, I was like, hey, if you want to use any of my footage, whatever. Right, then you just give me credit. That's the only rule I got on my footage. If anybody wants to use it, I don't care. Free use, go for it. Just give me credit. And found out he was going to be at the AWA Pro show after I'd already ordered. Because I was going to pick this up from him. He did a BIW show in Vicksburg, I think it was. I just could not make that one. I ended up coming down sick. Oh, sorry. So I met him down Ocean Springs and had not really looked at his pictures close on Facebook. He looks so much like my uncle that passed a couple of years ago. Well, they could pass for like cousins easily. I'm like, oh, okay. Because this uncle looked like nobody else in the family. About the rest of the family used to tease him, say he was like the milkman's kid. Mr. Martin here. Okay, so let's get in here. This came out in 2003. Gil Culkin. Okay, you don't. And it's just the history of wrestling. And sorry, I was not looking that closely. Get an introduction by Jeffrey, and it goes way back. I did not realize Wrestling Mississippi went this far back. I knew some of this, like I knew like the Culkin era. I knew a little bit about that. I knew about the Fields and hey, what's going on, Sam? Knew about the Fields running on the coast. Matter of fact, the first show I ever went to was I don't have the chat pulled up, sir, so I don't know if I'll see the messages or not. I ain't got my tablet on right now. Went to one of the Fields Brothers shows in Gulfport in 70. We're not sure on the year because I was so little. One of my grandparents. There's Stanislas Zabisco, who I don't think he's any relation to Larry Zabisco. Keith, if you ever watched this, you remember Larry. You met Larry. I keep going here. French Angel. How many people out there remember the French Angel? Kind of looks like Rondo Hatton. NWA coming to Mississippi. And that's the thing. Mississippi State, we had an NWA fed this state forever and ever and ever. Like once NWA broke away from Crockett and started having little NWA feds. And they talk about that in here. One of Sam's favorites here, the Pharaoh Funk does get mentioned in NWA Battlezone. But Sam, did you ever go to a BIW show when it was NWA? I don't remember. Oh, Jerry Jarrett. Oh, God. It's a great picture of Jerry. You know what he looks like there? Look at that. Does he not look like Larry Sweeney a little bit? How many people remember Larry Sweeney? Here we go. Cowboy Bill Watts and... Oh, the Crusher. Okay. Sorry, I got to get the light. I don't have my light set up. This is one of those things where I just did it quick. Okay, Jerry Lawler and Fan Kim? Kathy Moore? I know that name. She might be one of the ones that is involved with the oh shit. Okay. Check it out. It's hard to tell. And I'm a lie, it ain't the best, but that is the Honky Tonk Man. That's Wayne Ferris talking about the Tupelo Concession Stand Brawl. Kind of birthed ECW in a way. Eddie and Doug Gilbert. ICW event. That's one of the Culkin's feds. Ray Rowland. Okay. That's the guy that's on the cover here tying his boots. The only one on the cover I met is Derek King. I met Derek King a couple. Hey. Wildfire Tommy Rich. And somehow wrestling kind of fell off for a little bit in the state. Another man I've got to meet. Superstar Billy Graham. Superstar Bill Dundee. Jesus, Superstar Billy Graham. No. The real superstar, Bill Dundee. Miriam Springfield. She's the one that was running the stuff in like North Mississippi. Oh, God. King Cobra, not the infamous YouTube guy. This is the wrestler King Cobra. And there's a wrestler of Dixie Wrestling Alliance. Let's see, Aaron Holt, Dirty Buddy Ryan, Tracy Richards, Belle Star, Grave Diggers, Jimmy Ring of Fire. No. And that's one thing I want to point out, Mr. Martin. You mentioned it here that the Dixie Wrestling Alliance ran Pascagoula like in 86. It might have been, or that might be. I'm going off like I was a kid, but I went to every show in Pascagoula in 86 that I knew of, and they were all Gulf Coast Championship Wrestling by Tiny Frazier, Stan Frazier, Pascagoula Plowboy. There's Terry Boulder. Who we got here? Bruiser Bob Sweetan. Oh, and Sam, do you recognize the background here, sir? You bought the other one for your dad. This is the other one I have. All right, here we go. We got Bobby Fulton, Tommy Rogers, and Kevin Von Erich, and Lolly Dude, who... The impression I get from this book is like this Lolly Dude guy was a big deal in Mississippi for quite a while, and it seems like it was not on the coast, so I didn't hear about it down there when I was living on the coast, and like he became big throughout the state by the time I moved out of the state for a while. So, anybody know anything more about Lolly Dude? Let me know. Like their footage out there. Talking about WOW, which WOW's where Bob Holly got his start. And when I met Robert, I was introduced to him in something else. I ain't gonna repeat what my dad always called him. Oh yeah, fuck it. He called him that son bitch Bob. I don't know. My dad referred to a lot of people as that son bitch, and then we got Bob Holly. There he is. Look at old Bob with his mustache. Hollywood Jimmy Blaylock. Met Jimmy many times. Motley Crue. I've not met Motley Crue. And OW. Does OWO still run? The late Brian Christopher. Sting. Was he at Beach Bus 93? I'm trying to think if I saw him. I know I saw him. Here we go. Bambi saves Lolly Dude from the clutches of Mr. Nasty Ken Massey, while referee Keith Lansdale is tied in the corner with Peggy Lee Leather. Soda was taken 91 at the Central Mississippi State Fair in Kosciuszko. And Bambi and Peggy Lee Leather traveled all over facing each other. Here we go. See, this is the kind of posters. It feels like the new BIW ones are like a tribute to these old, just names, no pictures. Dog collar match, Rude Dog versus MSWF. This is the Mid-South Wrestling Federation in Kosciuszko Whippet football program. I'm trying not to laugh. Whippet football. That's I don't know. Fantastic Tommy Rogers, Jimmy Valentine. 3 other matches featuring KO 105 favorite Lolly Dude. When was this? March 7th. But what year? There's no year. Okay. Cousin Luke, James Kamala Harris, and Lolly Dude. Dr. X, John Hort, and Nature Boy Buddy Lindell. That's a cool picture. We got the Jagged Edge, last ever North American heavyweight champion for Horton. And Burt Prentice is Christopher Love. There's Jagged Edge. No, Jagged Edge is another one that's mentioned a lot in here. I don't know the name. Oscar Barlow. Willie Valiant, Ken the Dream Rose, and Handsome Jimmy Valiant. I meant Jimmy. Sammy Hong, Ken the Dream Rose. I'm sorry, guys. And everybody else here. The Barbarians remember the Alliance and Hulkamania in the main event of WCW Uncensored. Here he is on Sunday, March 8th, 2015 for CWA Wrestling in Ripley, Mississippi against Danny Dollar. Met Danny as Barbarian. CWA, if you've ever seen the Jamie Dundee, Mississippi riot footage, that's CWA in Corinth. It was Corinth Wrestling Alliance by Rodney Mega Man Grimes. He's got I don't know what it's called. It's like Genesis Network or something. You search on Roku. It's a free streaming thing. And it's like a bunch of his old wrestling and other stuff on there. I've never watched much of his footage, but they had some names come through. Brother Heavenly Love, Felix is her opponent, the former WCW star, Buff Bagwell, a veteran wrestler, J.D. McKay, serving as a referee. Looks on Tia Blaylock. Like 3 people. Well, 2 people in that picture. 1 person mentioned in the description I've met. And none of them are buff. There we go. Kenny Valiant, Michael Darkheart. Why do I know the name Michael Darkheart? I don't know. Buddy Lindell, Tracy Smothers. Willie D. Charisma, Don Bass, Richard Morton and Barbaros. Robert Gibson and the Jagged Edge. The Real Deal, Neil Taylor hits Barry Wolf with a chair shot from IWF and fucking Barry Wolf. Woo! One Man Wolfpack, Loco Lobo, Mr. 500, Derek King. Derek King of Corinth. Derek King's the shit. Derek King is the shit. Jeff Jarrett. And then we get to, Pure Destruction, Brody and Cody Hawk take on DC Nana. This is when we're getting into the indie stuff, and Bone Crusher for EPW. EPW has been around forever. They run like Boonville, I think it is. This might be from, because that looks like the outfit Mr. Hart had on when I met him. This might be from the time I met both of those guys. It was Lula. Is it Lula? It was Lula, Mississippi at the casino. Oh, check this out. Nightmare Jeremiah, Rob Love, and Angel Camacho. 3/4 of Southern Royalty there by Independent Wrestling, one of the top promotions in Central Mississippi. One of the top stables there is Southern Royalty. Pictured are from left to right. Now, members Nightmare Jeremiah, King Rob Love, get that shit right, sorry, and Angel Camacho, Kristen Newell, Extreme Brett Michaels, Stud Mike Jones, Bad Attitude Tony Dabbs, and Dirty Terrell Moore. Oh, I don't know what Fed that's from. Legacy, maybe? Might DiBiase. The Crowleys and Walker Hayes, VIP Wrestling. They worked Memphis a lot. Walker Hayes I've seen a couple times live. Real American Trace Hunt, Dirty Diana Taylor. Famous wrestler and personality. This is the Culkins. If you want to know more about this, is a good little summary. If you want to know more about the Culkins, there is a book that Gil wrote that you can find it on Amazon. It's another Amazon print on demand. It's worth picking up if you're interested in the history. Okay, that's the Culkins. Okay, that's what I thought, but I wasn't sure. I don't want to mess up. Okay, the DiBiases. Man, I don't know how. Let's just say, if everything the three of them are accused of is true, I don't ever want to meet the men again. Leave it at that. But yeah, I've met Ted Sr., I've met Ted Jr., I've met Brett multiple times. Actually, was supposed to meet Brett one last time, and then he turned himself in and went to jail. There's Ted. Ted, an interesting man. Met him. There was a show in town when they were doing a Ted came in and did a little sermon for the show or testimonial. I don't know what you call. I'm not a real religious person, so testimonial sermon. I don't know. He preached, and that was free. And if you want to see a show, I think it was like $10. And he was signed. Went over to his table, and I had a DVD of Amarillo, NWA Amarillo TV from 1978, and it had 1.5 or 2.5 episodes. It's like 2.5 hours. And he had a couple matches on there. I'm like, hey, I got this recently. I made a bunch of copies here. I knew you were going to be here. Thanked me, refused to charge me, and he signed my Mid-South DVD set, and I took a picture with him. If you've ever seen the picture of me with Ted DiBiase, I got the long hair and the dirt cheap shirt on. That's from that era. Ted Jr. met in Picayune. Tall Tim didn't get a picture with him. Brett, I've met multiple times over multiple shows. Never got a picture with him. I don't know. I was weird for a while. We didn't get a picture. Okay, this is the best part. No, that's not Brandon Turner. That's his daddy, Downtown Bruno. I loved all the. Downtown Bruno should have got a whole book. I need to get Downtown Bruno's book. Henry Harrell, I knew nothing about to this. Okay, cool. Gina Tone, another one. Jimmy Hart, of course, knew. Look at this young picture of Jimmy. Kamala. Met Kamala right before he retired, 2000. It was, if not his last match, near the end of it. There's him with Jake before he had to have his first leg amputated. Marco Stunt, EPW. That's the thing, is Marco. I haven't heard of Marco doing anything since he left. Max Palmer, one of them I didn't know a thing about. Uncle Elmer, Plowboy Frazier. They mentioned in here somewhere. Yeah, it talks about training Bob Holly. And that's it. Cool little book. God, I went 20 minutes on that. And this is Bohemian Rhapsody, an unofficial history of pro wrestling's unofficial territory, 1960 through 2020. Forward by Steve Kerr and afterward by Kevin Sullivan. Art by M.W. Lidzel. This one uses pictures. This one uses art and some pictures. Written by Ian C. Douglas. Bohemian Rhapsody is a great history lesson about pro wrestling in the Bahamas. An interesting subject in which there is a lot of big names involved, but very little previously has been known outside the island. Ian Douglas does a great job of both what happened in the ring and outside it over a 40-year period, says Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer. That's cool. If you think every slice of professional wrestling history has been explored and dissected, Bohemian Rhapsody will set you straight. Ian Douglas or Ian, I'm not sure. If it's Ian, sir, I'm sorry. I'll see Ian. Dives deep and returns to the surface with incredible stories and first-hand reflection was truly the last gasp of a wild, wild west of professional wrestling. It's quite simply destination reading for anyone who loves or has ever loved professional wrestling. Mike Johnson for PW Insider. A tour de force tale of wrestling in the Bahamas. Readers looking for original research won't come away disappointed as author Douglas has interviewed dozens of wrestlers in the course of producing this definitive treatment of this subject. It's the best account of wrestling in a single tour has ever been read, and I've read nearly all of them. Oliver Bateman, The Ringer. This has been on my list for a while, and I just I'll wait. And I finally got it. And let's see, it's print on demand. Came out in 2022. I got it I got it early this year, 2024. And it's what it says. It's the history of, that's the Nassau Stadium. Championship wrestling from Florida, and then other indies and smaller and regional territories in Florida started running the Bahamas often, because if you had an office down there, like a business, whatever you made down there was tax-free. You could bring it back to the States and not have to pay taxes on it, and they made damn good money. And it's the history of this little small territory that I didn't know a lot about. And just flyers and just this guy did his research as deep as like Hornbaker did with the NWA book and this, what was it, Death of the Territories book. But his writing is, I like Hornbaker stuff. Tim Hornbaker, a great writer, but his stuff is dry. It takes me a while to read. This guy's stuff is not as dry, and I blew through. It's like, I don't read books as fast as I used to. I could have sat down and read this all in like 3 hours, been good. Now it takes me a little bit longer. And I read this over the course of like 3 days. And the hanger. Like that. Big Jake, that's Jake St. Robert's daddy. I can't. Grizzly Smith. All these flyers and stuff. I'm going to eventually do a long form video on this. Oh, Arncel Johnson, Bahamas middleweight champion. That's the other thing. They had like people who were stars on there really didn't make it. Kevin Smith. Princess Victoria, Kevin Smith. Donna. Sweet Brown Sugar, first NWA Bahamas heavyweight champion. See, only thing I remember about the Bahamas was the belt and like Tyree Pride in the like dying days, it felt like to me, of CWF. But look, Ric Flair taking on Sweet Sugar Brown, Hacksaw Reed taking Jim Garvin, Terry Allen versus Kimala, and it's Kevin Sullivan versus Dick Rossetti. Jim Garvin versus Barry Windham, Angela Mosca versus Cowboy Ron Bass, Kevin Sullivan versus B. Byron Blair, Resurgence versus the Texans. $12. $12 for a ticket back then was high. They made a fortune. There's a Jimmy Garvin as the belt. I'm talking about how they had to, like, the fans were trying to sneak in, so they put a brick wall up with like broken glass on the top, and like they throw shit out. It sounds like Rufus Sargent. It sounds like this territory was as wild as Puerto Rico. It's just a lot of footage doesn't exist, is what it seems to be. Like there's some pictures, the yellow dog. Barry went a punch away at Ron Bass while Bill and Alfonso watches. And there's stories, Billy Jack Haynes, but like there's no footage. I looked around a little bit. There's a little bit on YouTube I found. I have not put out asking if anybody's got any that ain't out there, like, or shit that like, okay, yeah, it's private. It's unlisted, so you got to like get a link. Anybody knows, let me know. There's Tyree and Tyree Comedy. It's like after CWF photo, all these different, like the Malenkos, what were they? The IWA maybe, IWCCW International, you know, what Sunny Beach, not Sunny Beach, is it Sunny Beach? Ray Odyssey, sorry, sir. Ray Odyssey worked down there. Jerry Gray, the Golden Boy. Like just, oh man. You got to read this, and this is one where you got to really, you know nothing, both of these, if you know nothing about the areas, they're both worth reading. So I'm going to go ahead and get out, folks. Thank you for popping by, Sam. Everybody else, when you finally watch us, hey, have fun. I'm out. Laters.